It's very far. I need the money. That's better.
Yeah, that's better.
Yep, we are warming up. So we'll see if anyone will join us tonight.
Sherry.
Hey, Kenny. And Karen. Ooh, lots of case tonight.
It's just 2. We're getting there.
Which is lots for us from 0.
Fine. Our scale of comparison could use some work.
Mm-hmm. How's your Friday night so far? We are just staying home, as always.
Wow. As always, super exciting. But I am looking forward to playing Lego. And I know we should play more games, but then it's like,
It's okay. You can just play that.
Lego is fun.
Kenny says 2 is more than 0. Rocky, I'm with Toby. See?
I'll take advantage of this low threshold in time, you know.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Andre. Andre already says he loves the topic.
Oh, Karen was watching RuPaul. Yeah, I don't know. People are asking like on Twitter like who do you like and who do you want to see go, and like I don't feel particularly strongly about any of them. They can all go. It's like it's so early in the season. I don't know. I'm not invested.
Mm-hmm.
This is our conundrum. Hello, David. And it's Noel. Hello, Noel.
So we chilled the vodka, but we're not sure if we're drinking.
Yeah, I don't know. We're not super feeling it. Then I always feel guilty now. Okay, because a friend got us onto the Fastic app to track intermittent fasting. Then I feel super guilty when we drink. Because then we're definitely not fasting while drinking.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like my new barrier to drinking. Oh wow, Dave's like, okay, to be fair, Candy can go. I still hold to the which is Candy is the silky nutmeg ganache of the season. And you don't want to be that.
Can I share? Still remember my literal first date? It was so awkward. We shall talk about that more in a few minutes.
Yes, be ready to share. Noel, of course, denies. No.
Hey, Jed.
Hello, Jed.
Jed, we have a lot of containers for you. We just don't know when we'll schedule.
Yeah. We have a lot of kitty cat containers.
Mm-hmm.
We have been washing diligently ever since you requested. So, and we will probably generate another set this weekend because we generate one every weekend. Candy nutmeg ganache. Karen's on season 10.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, that's okay. You know, because someone asked me on Curious Cat, like 5 worst lip syncs, and then I was looking at different lists, and then when I agreed, it's like, ooh, A lot of them are in season 11. So, Karen, you're in a good place. Enjoy 10.
Noel shares, di ako first date.
First, har har har. And we'll talk about that too, I think. We'll have to address that that beast in the room.
Oh my gosh, we've already hit 10. We haven't started the show. Yay!
Friday!
Happy Tube Guy. Thank you, David. Thank you, Edward. Oh my god, Tube Guy wanted a moment.
I'm glad you're enjoying. And then if you want the untucked stuff, then we can watch on Wow Plus sometime when we meet again. Oh boy.
Worst lip syncs ever are from the UK series.
Hmm.
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 Wow. Sorry, we're imitating our nephews. All right. I guess we should start.
This is Toby.
And this is Rocky.
And if it's your first time here, welcome to Baduy Pride, a little space on the internet where we talk about anything we want.
This is completely unscripted, not entirely accurate, but at least it's honest. Join us. We talk about everything and anything random live.
And if it's not your first time here, thank you so much for joining us again. This is a Friday episode where we're going to try to touch on something again personal. Because we last year, we really hit on a lot of more personal topics for Fridays. Everything from first time to go to a bar to relationship tips and stuff. So I think it would be nice to start doing that again this year. And our topic this episode is first dates.
And I don't know, I think we're going to touch on maybe some of our first dates. I don't know if we can actually get into tips and stuff for first dates. And then we can all talk about different stories about first dates.
The horror stories, the I wish it went this way, places that you remember that or you wish you went to as a first date. Nowadays, if you had the first date, what would you think would be awesome suggestions? That sort of thing.
COVID testing together. So romantic.
So first dates. I don't think first dates are as big a topic or an issue now compared to generations ago.
Define now. Now, like in the past few years. Now, this year of COVID.
Now,
what
the
is now?
past few years, because parang kids nowadays jump into social media so early, so the dating idea doesn't really matter anymore because they sort of were dating virtually already.
We're so early into the episode proper, and Toby's already kidsing.
Because it's true.
He is othering an entire generation.
Because back in my childhood,
he didn't want to say back in my day. Get off my lawn.
Back in my childhood,
Toby.
parents would have discussions about upcoming first dates. You know, they would be super excited about their kids having their first date. And that first date usually...
Wow, your parents were nice.
That first date usually was the school dance.
Oh, okay.
Because that's the first time you'll be going out with the girl to a dance, and then they'll be so excited to watch you guys leave and all this and that.
I think Karen points out a very important point, which I also think we need to kind of take a step back and figure out, when is it a first date? Because like I think it needs to be clear to everyone involved that it's a date. Because even going to the school dance or prom may not be an actual date. Because you may have just both agreed to go, but did not call it a date.
But of course, at that time, for that generation, since
your generation,
since you don't normally socialize with others.
Why we had soiree.
Exactly, that time. So during the what? Grade 4, grade 5.
Whoa,
because that's when it happens, right?
Okay, I didn't have a soiree in grade 4, grade 5.
The boss got had.
Wow, I only had soirees in high school. What the heck happened to you?
Well, yeah, I think it was high school.
Back in your day, apparently,
Grade six.
grade 4
Grade
and
6, not 5. Not
5.
grade 4, grade 5. Grade 6. I made a mistake.
Oh.
But it was grade 6 that there was that sort of dance thing with the other school visiting. It wasn't the full dance where you're all dressed up. It was more the school visits for that afternoon, and everyone's at the gym, and you have to cross the the gym to invite them to dance, and then you talk to them at the table alone. It was a weird rite of passage.
Well, I think I saw this in Footloose or something. Ang aga ng soiree nito, sabi ni Noel. Okay, so then let's talk about that. So let's talk about when is it a date or just hanging out, especially for these modern kids who have their social medias and their dating apps. So are we saying that an actual first date, what differentiates the first date? Is it that there is romantic intentions or possibility?
Well, as far as the dictionary is concerned,
Oh wow!
romance isn't necessarily the ingredient because it could be still a social meeting.
Apparently, it's a berry
Because
it's a first date.
because it's possible that you'll meet and you don't know if the sparks are there yet.
That's true, but
That's why it's a first date.
but you're open to it. I mean, what I'm saying is, I know it's not necessarily guaranteed romantic, but
Mhm.
you are considering this angle.
So if it were to meet to get to know each other, in the past that was understood as a date. But
Mm.
nowadays, there is this, even if you're getting to know each other, it's not a date yet because the dates come in once you're already together.
Oh, that's weird. I mean, okay, then I'll wear the generation hat too. Because isn't dating part of the process of getting to know each other?
Exactly.
So, and when you're just dating, it's not even a commitment.
Yeah, but
It's just a
nowadays,
date.
you have people going, hindi naman tayo, so why would we be dating? Which is that weird chicken and egg
Okay.
statement.
Okay, younger people in this audience, how do you define it being a date? I mean, I think we all have at least this statement when Noel says that we both consent on the social meeting and actually call it a date.
Mhm.
So there's consent in
Mhm.
tagging it as a date,
Mhm.
right? I think we all agree on that,
Mhm.
right? That and it's different. Oh my god, it's different from an EB. Do we still call it an EB? And worse if it's a GEB. I never went to that.
Okay, so in an attempt to understand it, we have to consider blind dates. So blind dates.
Wait, we haven't even formalized
No, no,
date. Now
no.
we're in blind dates.
Because that helps set a distinction.
Okay.
Because blind dates would be, for example, me bringing friend A because you have friend B and we think they'll click.
But so there is definite like we're gambling on a romantic potential between
See?
the two.
Mhm. But the two people might not even be thinking that. As far as they're concerned, oh crap, we have to go anyway because our friends want us to meet these people.
Then you have terrible friends.
See, but that
But
does
don't
happen.
but don't the friends tell you that, hey, I'm dragging you onto a blind date or I'm arranging a blind date? The
Ideally.
blind part is not that you don't know it's a date. The blind part is that you don't know who the other person is.
Okay, Karen mentions, I asked this girl for a meetup hoping for a date, but it ended up to be a hangout. See, that's the weird thing. When does it suddenly just become a hangout? The moment one person doesn't agree to call it a date?
Hmm.
Or is it because you feel it's not connecting?
So are failed dates hangouts?
Because sometimes there are people who do feel that connection,
But I feel
but aren't ready yet to
but
start something.
I don't think that's fair.
So they'll
I
insist
think
this isn't a date.
you must make it clear and declare it's a date before you get into it.
Mhm.
You can't go in saying it's a date and then you retcon and like no hang out lang.
So this leads to those. So we'll meet tomorrow. Date yan, ha?
Yeah, yeah. I think at the very least that there should be a declaration of it being a date.
Okay. Karen shares it was devastating. Yes, it can be very devastating if you understood it to be one direction, then it's suddenly not. Kenny shares, aside from being on the same page. That
Wow,
it's a
the
date.
caption got really big.
There is an intention na for romance. Are you sure?
But it's not a commitment. I mean, that's. I think I can still agree
Okay.
that there's you're exploring the potential for romance.
But romance is a loaded statement. Because sometimes it's just flirting and not romance.
But it's along the same lines. Hmm.
So would you say hookups can't be dates?
I don't think hookups are dates.
What do you think?
Hookups are hookups. Sex is sex.
Okay, wait. We're missing a lot of other comments.
I have been flashing.
Yeah, but there's some that we skipped already. Yeah, because of a lot of performing. So Noel shares a date is formal.
Yeah.
Um,
And hangouts are casual. And then they're talking about what they're drinking.
mhm. So Andre
says pwedeng
shares.
flirting lang yung first date.
See,
But then there's still I mean, I'm not saying flirting can't happen on a date, but I'm saying that it's possible that just hooking up is not a date. Especially now. I mean, like, sex is so easy for the kids. Then it's very easy to just meet people, shablam, and then go and not talk to each other again.
So I presume this means these are hookups where you're clear you're just going to do it,
Yes.
but not hookups where you're seeing if magja-drive kayo to hook up.
Yes. I mean, I will have to recognize, especially in queer circles, that the lines blur in that first meeting. The potential for hooking up is always very high among queer men. David says hookups can turn into spontaneous dates. But again, I still feel like there has to be agreement that it was a date somehow to begin with. Or I don't know.
I guess that's the main thing. Is a date a label you choose to call the meetup, or is the date a state that meetup is in and you have to behave a certain way? Do you get the distinction?
Because what I guess, and maybe this is the romantic in me, but I feel like if you're going to say that you're on a date, then I don't think it's great for it to be spontaneous or casual. That there is some degree of preparation, thought, or intent. Like you choose a nice place to eat at that maybe you don't normally eat, or you choose a place of maybe it's casual, but it's still personal significance or something like that. Like, I mean, I don't care if you meet at a Jollibee, but if this is important to you, then that's fine. But I feel like there's that angle to the first date.
I mean, I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
I just know that the term date has been a tricky label, more so when you go beyond the gay spectrum.
Yeah.
Because of course, the moment you cross over to the hetero spectrum, then you suddenly have expectations that are connected to the fact it's a date.
And admittedly,
that brings in discussions
my heteronormative upbringing cannot separate me entirely from those expectations.
So, like, if there's a date, then you have to pay for the bill. You'll have to this and that, which are expectations of the old era. But
I mean,
that comes with a
that's a little archaic because I think even straight people can go Dutch.
No,
It's
but
totally
but that's my point. See, but by defining it to be a date, then those lines have to be defined. Because until it's defined as a date, the assumption is everyone's paying for themselves. See, and that's when sometimes it becomes the other way around. You're together, and then you're having such a great time. Oh, I'll get the bill. Why is this a date?
I don't like it when people spring it on you after that or midway that, hey, I think it's a date now. I don't know, because then I feel like it's setting weird expectations and it's putting pressure. And okay, then with like flashing through. So like Mitch thinks it should be mutual.
Yeah, I think that's an understanding we all agree
Kenny
with.
says that a hookup became a date because they went out after doing it. So, but at least there was still like consent, right? And then Noel, I think it's in our romantic camp that there's preparation for it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it then and but then he factors in feelings. Then if you're excited and stuff, you prepare a date. If you feel nothing, then it's a hang up.
Okay, so Noel, I'll have to ask you this. If you both agreed you're going on a date, but then when you meet the person and you realize minutes in you're not feeling anything.
No,
Do-
then
do
it's
you-
still a date.
Yeah, but so do you
No,
do you
but
declare?
his excitement is preparation.
Mm,
It's not and then
Okay.
Mitch is like dates can be Dutch, yes.
Mhm.
And then Karen had the reverse where a guy thought they had a date and Karen wasn't aware. Right, the understanding needs to be clear from the
Mhm.
onset. I don't think we should have that switcheroo and like say, boom, you're on a date. You didn't know, I'm paying for the bill. Because it's weird. Especially now. I mean like as much as there was like a degree of chivalry for the
Mhm.
guy paying for the bill. These days I feel like that's just so old hat
Yeah, I
and more offensive than romantic.
agree.
Oh my god.
You get the double shark.
What is Dutch? Oh, this generation needs to learn to go on dates. A Dutch treat is when each person in the date pays for their half of the meal. That's what
I think there's a
Dutch
different
is.
term for the younger generation on going that.
KKB.
Yeah, KKB is the
But then
common
you
term.
also use KKB with a group or a barkada. So it's not an exclusive dating term. But yes. Noel, if it's more about good date or bad date, but still a date if you
Mhm.
agreed it was a date. And then like us internally, Noel left the room. Yes. Oh man. See, and this tells me that the definition of dating definitely has changed over
Yes,
time.
exactly. And
And I don't have to agree with it and be an old man and say no.
which then brings us to the next level of the question. Is there really any importance in a first date? Because some will say there's the first date as a milestone. It's your first time to have a date. But then there is the
like your first date ever.
Yeah, but then there's the first date per person.
Mm.
So the first time you went out with this person. But then we have to realize that there are some relationships that don't necessarily happen after that first meeting. Diba? They might have gone out, maybe they didn't click, and then, hi, hellos, never mind. And then years later, the chemistry is there.
Yeah.
So then they have to redefine their first date.
Oh, well. That's a very specific situation, which I feel like defines some rom-coms that you have enjoyed, where it didn't work out in the beginning, but later on they realized that
Or she
they were
has
meant to be,
amnesia, so they have 50 first dates.
or they just met at the wrong time and they were different people then, and now they're meant to be. Yeah.
Oh my god. It's different from a Dutch Open.
This is a very important differentiation.
So that because the oven has its own heat sources.
Oh my god, wait, you don't know what a Dutch oven is?
No.
For someone who goes to sleep with a blanket almost all the time, you think you would know what a Dutch oven is. Anyway, I'm not going to define it. It's not related to first dates. Okay, Mitch, it's like, pag one way lang yung date, illusionadang date lang yun. Yes, that's possible. Kenny tries to double down and defend his KKB and splitting the bill, or going Dutch. That's. Oh my gosh, Karen! Do not Google a Dutch oven. Okay, so.
Oh, I get it now. That's when you fart inside the blanket.
Okay.
Okay. Yes. That's a Dutch oven.
You
So
gotta
how's
enjoy your own.
How did going Dutch?
They're not necessarily related. They don't have to be related.
So I can get a blanket. Love, let's go Dutch. Anyway, see, Karen's asking.
That's why it's like.
Okay, so going back, so we have the definition of the
Oh my god, Mitch. Okay, I wish I could get the reference. Calling it a date in the middle of a meetup is like a famous Korean scene. If you finish the drink, we are now dating. Wow, that's heavy. I am not prepared for that. Okay. Okay, ambush. All right, all right. Wow. So, do you remember what your very first date was? Going by this lengthy discussion.
Is this the family defined date, or is this my personal feeling?
Let's
that
go
it was a
with
date?
you. And then let's talk about why this is an example of a date.
So in school, I don't remember her.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't that memorable at all. But that was still at the time, I believed I was straight. And I was actively joining marches against smoking and
Mm.
abortion. 'Cause
Wow.
I was that kind of Catholic raised kid.
Good job.
In terms of my actual, I had feelings and it was a date. Um, Her name was Jennifer,
Mm.
all the way in Bukidnon.
Oh.
Because we were there for my dad used to work at DNR, so we were part of the reforestation in Bukidnon.
Okay.
I was the Batang Maputi, and there was this town.
Maybe you have to stress that you're the
No, that was what they
Okay.
called me. Oh, yun yung Batang Maputi.
Oh, okay.
And then
Okay.
they
There's
called me.
context. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
And then there was a fiesta, the Kaamulan Festival, which included disco on the streets.
Mm.
And that's when a girl asked me out.
You were asked out.
Yes.
Oh wow.
And she was Australian.
okay.
She had brown hair and nice.
So much maputi
bluish
pa siya.
eyes. Yes. And we were like laughing because we both didn't know how to dance. But we realized by just hanging out together, we could speak English and not feel out of place.
Okay.
So we actually enjoyed this.
That's quaint. That's quaint.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of like if any of my, I mean, like I had a lot of like trepidation around asking people
Mhm.
out for like my school prom and stuff. But then, admittedly, it didn't necessarily feel like there was romantic intent.
Mhm.
If that were the case. And then I was very struggling with my my soji, for lack of a
Mhm.
more succinct term. So we'll go with that. But admittedly, probably my very first date, like it was meant to be like a date,
Mhm.
was chocolate kiss at UP,
Mhm.
which is like, oh my god,
The place for dating.
I know, right? I'm that UP person who had the first date at chocolate kiss.
Would you rather it was somewhere else? No, of course not. It's UP. Would you rather it was Sunken Garden?
That's
That's not a date.
no, I know. You don't need to be in a restaurant for a first date, but
But
I'm that person who
But
likes
see,
it
that's
in a
my
restaurant.
point. See, when
To
you
be
think,
fair-
when you think date,
To be
you have
fair-
certain preconceived notions.
But okay, that's me. And everybody has different definitions of what that first date is.
Exactly, and that's part of what makes a first date tricky because you might be dating someone who might be thinking, "Oh, this is a first date, so dapat i-treat ako," and then the other person might be thinking, "Oh, it's a first date, so restaurant to." And then if the two of you end up going to a movie, one person now feels shitty.
Well, okay. I think if you're going through assumptions, then yes, disappointment is very going to happen.
But wouldn't
But I think if you clarify, if when you both decide to go on a date and hash out the terms of what this means in terms of where it's gonna be and what may happen and potentially happen, then I think you'll be fine
But
as
isn't-
long as expectations are set.
But isn't that the sort of dating that only happens after college? Because prior to that, it's always a lot of I don't know what I'll do, I don't know what will happen, I don't know if I can tell him this and that.
That's fine, but I'm sorry, I don't do a lot of dating before college. I wasn't that person.
Did you set the terms?
No. He said we're gonna meet the chocolate kiss, and we went. I told you, I didn't make these.
Okay.
Mitch says she only remembers fries from McDonald's.
Okay.
Somnus is here, hello. And then
There's
Noel is tempted to download Tinder again. I don't know, Noel. This is not the best time. Don't. Just no. Just no.
yeah, but if anyone else is willing to share their own memories of their first date stories, I do
We're
recommend
20 minutes and we're still defining dates.
no names.
Yes.
Because it's always fun to
Yes.
just hear the stories, but we're not here to like make
Oh,
fun
see?
of anyone.
See? Miguel's like, drill down questioning helps define if it's a date or not.
Yes.
So should we ask why 7 times?
But that never
How? How is a date?
But that never happens in your first date.
Your very first,
Yeah.
probably not.
In your later dates, you've learned better. You know to set the
Which
ground
is
rules.
fine. Then I think, I mean, if we're going to go by the very, very first
Well,
date,
my topic is
we're
first.
idiots. No, but then now you're going to go through many first dates
Exactly.
with different people.
Other people.
But your very first date, sure, is going to be a
Mhm.
stupid date
And it-
based on stereotypes you see in movies and all that stuff.
So should you feel conscious or guilty or nervous that the other person might take the forwardness wrong? So let's say you've been dating and you're finally gonna have your first date with me.
Mm.
Let's say me, it's my first time to date someone because I haven't come out and all this and that. And as we're planning, you're like, okay, so this will be a date, so we'll go to a restaurant and ganyan ganyan. Because you're setting the ground rules. So that might make me go.
If you're going to take the conversation in that tone, then that's sucky. Because you're just dictating what's going to happen instead of saying, what do you want to do on this first date?
That's true.
Right? You shouldn't. When I say that you agree upon things, it doesn't mean you each come with a list of demands and say, this is what's going to happen.
Going out. Okay, I have going out. Restaurant. You don't have a restaurant.
Ano to, boggle? We get points for unique date ideas.
Which could be a way to make your first date fun. Both of you can come out with your rules or your list of what you hope the first date will have and then compare notes and see if you click.
I'm very worried about your dating protocol. Now I have to want now what was our first date?
We did not have a first date.
We did not have
Because
a first
our
date.
first time to come to go out was already the weird party invite that kind of shattered any pretense of a first date.
That is true. Because our first meetup could have been a first date, except I was in a relationship. So,
Mhm.
of course, no romantic potential. And we were meeting to play Netrunner.
Mm.
Then, that Valentine's Day weekend, on Valentine's Day
Day.
itself,
Mhm.
you invite me to a party, which is not really a party.
And admittedly, that party was that not party was quite fun for us both because that's when we really realized, I mean, let's face it. The first meetup with the pizza and the Netrunner cards, there's a lot of sexual tension.
Yes.
But the second one, we were just having such a great time that sexual tension was the last thing in our lives.
That's true.
We were just enjoying the company. We were amused at the situation. We were laughing at ourselves. We didn't want it to end. We ended up going to Malate afterwards.
Mhm.
So it was in many ways the first date, but it was never a decided upon.
That's true. The beginning of our relationship is very complicated
Mhm.
because it's built on the ashes of my previous one. And it was part of the process being burning that one down. Sorry
Okay.
for the graphic.
Real quick, Lucas, I don't want to skip anyone's comments.
Well, yeah. So Miguel's like, something that feels like a hostage negotiation at times when you're trying to figure out the date.
Mhm.
Okay, Kenny says his very first date is a guy asking out early in the conversation to watch Edge of Tomorrow. And it being my first, because obviously we did have a lot of topics to talk about. Ooh, movies as first date material.
Do you think that's good or bad?
If you only do the movie, it's probably not going to be much because you won't talk.
Mm-hmm.
Then you don't really get to know each other.
I feel movies are only good if it were a movie you were both really, like let's say Time of Lord of the Rings. The next Lord of the Rings movie comes out and you're both, oh my God, let's watch it because we've been waiting for it. Then that's fine. That's fine as a date.
Mitch argues that more often than not, the first date is rarely defined as the first date on the onset, only defined later on, or it could be illusionadang date lang made. Later pa mo confirm yung date lang. I'm very concerned for these maybe their dates.
Mitch, very hugot.
Nick says his first date was awful.
Yeah, but
and
Mitch,
I think a lot of first dates were terrible.
Mitch does share. Thank you for calling it out. Mahirap talaga i-manage yung expectations because the expectations are in one way or another there, and sometimes it's not even the people going out who have the expectations. It's their circle of friends. So, like, if I were going out for the first time with someone,
this is why I didn't
friends,
really have friends.
diba? You'd be like, ano, date na ba yan? Ganyan. Tell us how it goes. Baka naman he's a jerk. And that pressure can be overwhelming because you're there now nervous about meeting the person, but you're now also thinking about all these checklists your friends tell you.
This is why I didn't have close friends.
But the circle you hung out with at that time, did they throw stuff like that? I mean, even at us meeting, and it wasn't even a date.
No, they didn't know how to talk about it because I was with someone else. We are not a good example.
No, but at that onset, that someone else was sort of still, saying hellos to me.
Yeah.
So was there like parang, so these are the rules, these are the...
They didn't talk to me. They didn't really talk about it. And that's the nature of things that
Mhm.
I don't really keep people close.
Okay.
Okay.
Nick shares, unless you talk through the movie, don't be that person.
Then maybe you belong together but not at the theater. It says, movies are good date starter. Check if you have the same taste in genre level of thing we talk about after movie. But yeah, I still feel also like sana it's a movie you both want to watch instead of
It's
one
your
person
excuse to
pushing
hang
it.
out together. Yeah.
Or worse, saying you'll watch something romantic together, which feels contrived.
Okay, that for me is always dangerous.
Yeah.
Because one, it's too much pressure. Two, it
Oh.
sets the bar high.
And Kenny says the first date I had didn't go well. Yeah, when setting up dates, I explicitly say wag movie, which is valid
Mhm.
also. Which is valid. Miguel says movie dates are hit or miss. What if your date has a bad taste in movies? You'll be miserable the entire duration of the movie. Which is why
Exactly.
you should know you should agree on the movie
Mhm.
at the beginning.
By that direction, then, are we saying all lengthy and forms of entertainment should not be date material? Movie, theater, musical, concert.
Yeah, unless you both genuinely
Wanted to do
independently liked it
Mhm.
and were planning to go see it on your own and decide to
For
see
me,
it together.
not even if you were planning to see it. I mean, let's say, two people who don't really know each other, they're both going to a Kylie concert,
Hmm.
and then they decide to go together. That's dangerous.
Kasi,
Because now, if it doesn't work out, you're stuck remembering that memory of going to that concert you wanted with that person you didn't like.
that's a fair point. That's a fair point. Okay.
Diba? So it's still a tricky thing to do. But yes, I agree that at least it should be something you wanted to do.
So okay, then maybe we can agree that first date movies are not great first date things.
Sorry, Mitch, that quiet muna.
But later on when things are developing, then you can risk lengthy entertainment.
Or at least risk more meaningful entertainment.
Mm.
The entertainment that means more to you.
Sadly, Karen had a more sad story where the pressure from friends broke a relationship for her because the guy felt scared. Okay, and that's not fun when
Mhm.
your circle of friends is like super protective involved.
Mhm.
Which is also like why I've never really had a barkada. So, okay, and fair point, Noel. It's like first dates with your eventual partners are always memorable. Kahit pa you broke up, you'll still remember.
That's true.
That's true. Even though I mean, like our first date wasn't quite a first date,
Mhm.
but we'll never forget that weekend because it's really. I remember we were on Buendia, heading up the flyover towards EDSA when that was around that precise moment you tell me, so about tonight, this party that we're going to,
There's something you should know.
there's something you should know. Deo's here. Hello, Deo. And then
Hey,
Dave, of course, is like, well, buti na they kept one-upping each other even until now. Good for you.
Mhm.
And, I mean, it's great when it works out. It just doesn't always work
Yes.
out. Okay. Wow. Noel's like, a good date where you don't want to do anything but talk. Getting to really know each
Yes.
other by talking is a good start for a possible relationship.
Yes.
I feel this way too. And I think that's why our non-first date was great
Mhm.
because we were just drinking wine and having fun
Mhm.
and making fun of the situation that we
Yes.
were somehow in because it was a party that only included 6 people. Including us. We should have woken up the kids so that we'd at least get to 8. Okay. Yeah, Kenny is like, since you can't talk during events like that, it's not great for first date. I think so too. You end up sidestepping and
Mhm.
avoid working out. Oh, Nikki's like, he took someone out of musically worked out naman,
That's good.
which is fair. And I think, to be fair now, because, okay, was this, again, because of the prior discussion, we're trying to figure out how to define date for people. A lot of talking now happens ahead of time.
Yes.
Whereas before, the bulk of the talking may happen during the first date.
Mhm.
There is a lot of conversation that happen online, on
Mhm.
social, whatever. Maybe you actually use the phone.
Mhm.
Wow, amazing. Um, then that'll be cool. Oh my
'Cause-
god, to be calls all the time. That was like early on. It's like, who is this person using the phone?
Because that's the point. In
And
the past,
picking me up in his car.
because in the
Am I
past,
supposed to feel like the girl?
it was hard to stay in touch in the past, and it's either you visit or you call. And if you're lucky enough to know the address, you write letters. Now, as the internet entered the picture, well, actually, even before the internet, you had cell phone. You had text messages later. Yeah, text messages later on. Pager messages later on.
Voicemail
Yes.
exchanges. Have you
Yes.
ever done voicemail swapping with people? I miss that.
And realize with those forms of communication, so precious and expensive, with the modern day, you have people adding people on social media even if they've never met.
This freaks me out.
And within those initial communications, you then have exchanging of comments. They comment on your post, or they'll toss some emojis, and then you'll react, and then the conversation starts. But there's always these opportunities now to actually get the conversation started, even if
Yeah.
you're total strangers. And in some cases, even these conversations continue for years before you finally meet.
To be fair, we were talking for quite some time.
Diba? And that's the sort of world it is now. We're in the first dates are no longer these testing grounds of communication. They're now more testing grounds for
Personal chemistry.
actual chemistry connection. Because there have been instances of lots of chemistry online, but then when you talk face to face, it's gone. And maybe it's because the person just speaks differently face to face.
I was thinking about the speaks different. See, that was my first example. I didn't want to say it, but
Some people,
I have so many people like that.
but yeah,
I
diba?
don't like the way you talk.
And then there are some who you realize, okay, this guy used to research before they reply. Because the way they carry the conversation face to face is very different from face to face
Yeah,
conversations.
it's like, look how we worked out, despite how Toby mispronounces many words. In like early conversations, I really have like, they want to bring it up first, but ooh,
Yeah.
that's not how that word is said. I think it was after that first weekend that I had no qualms. Like, sorry, what did you say? It's like, what?
Yeah.
That's how you pronounce that? And like, no. Okay. Okay. David says he thinks good first dates are more about enjoying and have a good time. If you don't end up together, it's still a nice memory, which I think is great. And that I think that's the goal, right? That you got to the dating as its traditional experience expectation is the two of you getting to know each other and seeing where things go from there. There is the potential for romance, but it is not obligated to romance. You're not together because you're dating. But yeah, that's where I always come from. That dating is part of the exploration of your potential with one another. Okay. I can't flash all of Noel's stuff. I will just say that he's been channeling Alexis Mateo, going a lot of bamming. Bam! And I'll just leave it at that. And then I'm not trying to interpret Karen's comment. So one of pickup's telling her person here's cute and ask if I can add her on Facebook.
Can you sorry, because I can't read it.
This one.
And you're only reading partial, so
One of my pickups is telling the person that he or she is cute and ask if I can add her on. Oh, so like
Pickup lines.
pickup line. Sorry, I'm sorry. When you say pickups, I just think truck.
Mhm.
Transportify, But um, I guess that's a thing. But then it's me. It's like I mean, at least that one you're asking.
Yeah, and that one you still tried to start the conversation
Or
before you added the person.
or like you're still trying to get like an introduction, right?
Because there are people who add you, and then you're the one who has the message to ask, why are you adding me? And then hey, cute ka kasi.
And Toby gets very angry. I know I have Twitter friends who make fun of me because I think every quarter I end up posting, why are you all following me? I know Twitter is one directional and I can't stop you from following me. But who are you people? Why are you following me? That's literally the tone in my head. And so I think because it bit me in the butt because there was another time like, what's your tagline or what's your catchphrase? And then GM is like, why are you following me? Which is probably what I say too often on Twitter. And I do the same thing every time an unrecognizable person adds me on Facebook. I will do one of two things. One, if I see a number of mutual friends, I may ask the mutual friend, "Who's this person?" And then the other is is messaging the person, "Why are you following?" Or no, the politest I can put it is, have we met in person and I just don't remember? Maybe you can remind me where we met.
Yeah, I know I have that fallback to use only because I have had public engagements. I've given talks.
And Toby has very bad memory.
Yeah.
So it's very possible
and there have been those instances where I don't know who this person is. And then suddenly the person finally replies, oh, kasi you were in the talk in that school. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, my disclaimer is always like, I see we have a lot of friends who go to O-Bar. If we met there, I probably don't remember. Which is like an easy defense. But then I'll just get just making friends. Or half the time they get scared and they just they cancel the friend request and like, well, you're not gonna get anywhere that way. So Jed has a first date story. His very first date, wanted to hold it off for a long time. He wanted to talk and talk muna for weeks on the phone para may love na muna kami daw talaga. Wow, that's pressure. But finally agreed to meet the church in Makati. Agreement he wanted to pray first.
Interesting.
Very interesting. I'm not a big fan of church dates.
Meron pa. Turned out.
Oh, this is new.
Not, you missed it. There.
Oh, there. Yeah, but it's just new. When I was 3 feet tall, I didn't know what to say. Dating profiles really help now when they have complete information. Wow. Question to the mature audience, Kenny. How different are the first dates now to first dates before?
Well,
we knew what Dutch was. No, I think one of the biggest differences is it was so much more of a gamble before.
Yes.
That there was so much you didn't know, and you would only begin to find out in the first date, but not necessarily everything's gonna come out in the first date.
There was also greater pressure on where you were going to go. Because so there weren't that many fast food restaurants.
What do you mean?
Which meant when you go out, it would either be an expensive restaurant. Like Shakey's was not even fast food at that time. Shakey's was a family.
So when you say fast food restaurant, I think you more mean like, I guess, fast casual dining. So like more
eating out
bistros and cafes.
Thing.
It was like you jump to very expensive restaurants.
Yeah, or you go to a bar.
Which is hard.
Exactly.
And then it's even worse when you're gay. Then the only place you could kind of go comfortably was Malate, or you'll just have one of those innocuous Starbucks dates and try not to look like you're two guys who may be into each other.
And then there was the extreme of, or you go for like a nearby turo or because that's the comfort food in your area,
which is not bad.
But some people might take that differently. So it was that pressure of, would this be okay? Would this be taken okay? But then the other extreme was, this one naman cost so much. So where do you go first?
I mean, like, because if you think, especially like in pre-social media or early social media days,
Mhm.
you didn't exactly have like a horde of photos to go through first in order to screen people.
Mhm.
Like you maybe had the one or two photos he maybe emailed you or sent over IRC direct image upload,
And that's
and
assuming they have pictures to share.
assuming they had a photo because maybe they're at a cafe. Oh my god.
Or if you were lucky enough, they had a Friendster.
Or a
Or
photo
a-
bucket or a pic link or a fotkey or what are all those weird, they were dedicated,
Multiply.
no, even before multiply, but
Okay.
there were all these dedicated sites just for hosting photos to use when you're dating, when you're showing each other
What
who you are.
if you were lucky? You would have a friend who knew that person,
Mm.
so they would have a yearbook. to
Ooh,
show.
ooh, yearbooks. Wow. That's not my generation. That's too.
And then it would lead to a lot of screening meetups. So I'll have a date, but before we meet, we'll meet in the National Bookstore. And then I have my friends nearby on standby. So if it's not going well, I'll do a hand signal and friends will walk by to pull me out.
Wow. You prepared emergency exits.
Had to.
I committed, but also because I was alone and didn't have friends. And so therefore I just deal with it. And thus I have been stood up on, on that first, that not even a first date, but maybe just a first meet. But then I guess maybe they saw me and decided not to meet up anymore. And then they just never answered. And that sucks.
Ours was smooth. Since it was a bookstore, if I grabbed a specific book, that was the sign.
Wow, that's convoluted. That's convoluted. Okay. Um, um, what's this? Oh, this is interesting. Mitch like one signal. It's a possible date. Okay, Mitch, because of her Illusionada dates, is when the party silence their phone or puts away their phone.
That's true.
That's interesting. Isn't it supposedly like, especially for some of the Sams, when you put the phone face down, it's supposed to mute? Although I feel like it doesn't work. Because I saw someone on Twitter complaining about it, like they're hiding something from you. And like, but I thought it's supposed to mute your phone. But that's one thing.
Yeah.
David, I feel like is this a pun? A 3-foot person? I definitely can't see that one coming. Is that because you're giant? But so are you. Okay, so what's this? Wow, I don't know. I'm just gonna share Miguel's comment. I'm not sure where to go with
The
it.
3-foot person incident and church date had my brain going into a wooden statue coming to life, which could be a memorable.
Memorable date indeed. So I don't know. I don't know where to go with that one. I'm not gonna touch that one. Okay.
Yeah.
Then, now I guess the question of the hour, with the pandemic going around, are online dates considered as real dates? Online dates are commonly hanging out virtually or synced videos.
What's your answer to that?
I think due to necessity, you can consider them dates. Although I feel like we're gonna go down the Mitch road of if you both agree after.
Okay.
And if not,
My view is this.
okay.
Do you feel online friendships are real friendships? So the answer there is mostly yes, but something still changes or may change when you meet.
Yeah, I mean, like, and there are people like I've only talked to online, and if we don't meet after a certain point, I feel like it never gets to the next level. It never really becomes like a friendship
And
or whatever.
no matter how strong that connection you've made online is, there's really still something else different the moment you finally meet.
I mean, okay, Toby and I were talking for months before we met in person. It was fun. It was a lot of crazy. There was flirting. There was banter. There was a lot of geekery.
Yeah, I was seduced.
But I didn't necessarily feel like, wow, time to end my relationship. So it never came up. But
That's
something sparked the first time we met, and the subsequent meetups were like,
I mean,
Yeah.
even with me, at first, enjoying the attention, enjoying the communication. It was fun
Enjoy the attention.
because you finally were responding and we were talking and all this and that.
Finally.
But until we met, it's still
Because Toby's pattern of approach online has been, hey, that's me. That's his very first comment to me. Hey, that's me. And then the next one being, hey, I know you.
Hey, don't forget.
Anonymous on Guys for
Uh-huh.
Men. He's like, hey, I know you.
And don't
Like,
forget the guy I'm dating.
such a winner, right? Such a romance. MMK, get ready. We have the story.
Because
for
I
you.
wasn't trying to be romantic. As far as I was concerned, you're untouchable. You're already with someone. So I was just happy to connect. But yeah, going back to that question, an online date, I personally would count it as a date. I would consider it as real as an online friendship, as you would consider it. But I will still also say that the moment you finally go out on a date face to face, you will realize that still feels different. There will still be something very different.
Or I will argue that, I mean, online dates are still dates. That's fine. But I don't think only online dates are going to be sufficient to make a final decision if you two should get together. Like, and they call me traditionalist, but I feel like you really need to meet in person and figure out each other's vibe, energy, aura.
There is that wavelength. There is that,
how they pronounce things.
There is that connection that really forms when you meet a person, and that wavelength is not something people will be able to fake. Okay.
I don't know if I can flash Noel's story. I'll try to
It's really
skim.
long.
Yeah, similar story. Phone pal muna. Then we started feeling something, decided to meet. Went to his house, di pa siya out. He got me an apple green bear with a pink ribbon and flowers. Then, to be very kind, he wasn't my type. Then I met his best friend. Long story short, went out with BFF. That was his very first date, 1994. I think I appreciate that we're tagging these things with years. Jed's date was 1997. Excellent, guys. Excellent.
We can't, of course, ignore the fact that virtual communication, unless it's like always video calls, always has the possibility of friends helping out in terms of composing responses. Because there's a lot of that does happen.
Yeah.
Oh my God, nag-text siya. What do I say? What do I say? And people
Isn't it
start
na? I mean, as early as the IRC days, we used to joke that there is, what's this? Google delay. When you're chatting and they don't answer quite right away, I feel like they're searching online for what I'm talking about. And like, I am, in my early years, I am guilty of asking very nuanced questions about my interests to make sure he really knew what he was talking about and he wasn't just searching online.
I do that even if it's not for dates. Someone will message, I'm really into role-playing games. Oh, really? Then I'll throw a few names and see if they'll notice it.
Going back, Miguel says there are bookstore book sale dates, which is interesting because I feel like there's not a lot of talking.
I think, though, that's a nice date option.
It is.
Because it gets you a glimpse of what excites them. Because they'll be like, oh my God, this one. And, that's when you get a glimpse of, so he's really going crazy over that calculus book.
Karen has been enjoying my references to IRC. So also no one. And then, Karen met first boyfriend through IRC. I met my first partner through an IRC-like chat on gay.com. And we have sorry, I'm clicking, LDR. MJ, hello MJ. I'm not sure.
Hi,
we haven't
MJ.
seen on the show before.
Welcome to the show.
Ha! Mitch is like, bakit ang stalker ng hey, it's me? Yes. Yes, it felt that way. And it was so freaking out that I couldn't, because I didn't see who it was. He was silhouetted against the doorway. So
sadly, this is Toby not knowing how social media works. So
Toby is continually behind on social media.
I met you on one channel. So when I saw you on the other, he'll realize it's me. It's me. Yeah.
It is a miracle we got together. Okay. Um, but what about someone who are an LDR with someone they only met online? I will be sad and say I'm always cautious.
I'm not saying it can't happen
Yeah,
because let's face it, there also are relationships that formed in long distance through written letters.
that's
Diba?
true.
So it is there.
Wow, let's talk about written letters with your pen pal.
Yeah. Ultimately, all I'm just saying is, you might feel no. Let me rephrase. You will form connections with people even if you've never met them face to face, but you must, at least be ready to possibly feel that something might be different when you finally meet face to face,
Mm-mm.
because there still is that. I mean, I've seen or I've had connections with people who I love chatting with. I'm anxious to meet up to game and all that, and then game night, and it's not,
We are like this with people we invite.
and it's
to
not that the person's a bad person. It's just that there's that weird vibe that doesn't connect,
game.
and sometimes it's there are people who you can only take in small doses.
Yes,
And that's not a bad thing. Again, it's just that you realize maybe they're very strong in their personality, or maybe you can just take them for a short moment. Afterwards, you need a breather because you're feeling tired. And that stuff may happen in your long distance relationship afterwards.
Okay. I think this is important. Where Karen says, I feel like dating at late 30s has different mechanics, but that is
Yes.
just me and I think once you get past the first date excitement period of your life, of your early to mid 20s, you will come to a point when you're dating that then you just become a lot more pragmatic and practical and you want to avoid certain things. Then you feel a lot more empowered to be like, hey, is this a date?
Mhm.
And then like, what are we doing?
On a
You know?
on a related trend of thought,
Trend of thought.
there is the how you close the door that you have to consider. People who are older are more willing to clearly state, this isn't working out, blah 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 blah
Oh
blah.
yeah.
Whereas people who are younger will just ghost you and disappear because they feel they're not obligated to explain anything. It's not working out for me, so I'll just move on. But for older people, there is that feeling of wait, I have to make sure it's clear because I don't want them to think it's this. I don't want
Yeah,
to think
yeah,
it's
yeah.
that.
That's something.
And it's not a good or bad thing. I say. It's just a difference in terms of generation.
Ooh, Noel's like met his first boyfriend at Giraffe, 1997. We're going into the years. Okay, Mitch. One of her Illusionadang dates, I specifically stand on the section of the books I like and leaned a line,
And learn a line
kami
kasi-
ng taste. Okay. And then, um, about to pick the book and like pay for it, and he said, "Wag dito mas mura sa National." Then the next day, he gave a copy of the book. Ooh, good gesture. But then it was Illusionadang date, so unsure what that was.
In many cases,
At least you got a good book.
Yeah, but in many cases, it's because for the other person, they're not sure either.
Hmm.
Because maybe when they got the book, they were expecting a certain reaction. And when they didn't see it, suddenly they realized, okay, baka hindi nga dito. I mean, diba? It's that weird muddled ground of what people sometimes expect.
Okay, Karen says, Miguel replies to Karen, becomes more direct, you possibly enjoy it better.
Mhm.
Kenny says, as you get older, maybe you get more strategic with first dates. I
But-
don't think you get strategic. I think you've learned.
Yeah, people learn from mistakes, plain and simple. And
Mm.
sometimes the mistake could simply be you realize what you didn't like.
Miguel says ghosting knows no age.
Well, that's true.
sad.
That's true. But it was much more common.
And Karen says we're more direct because we're sick of playing games. Totally.
Yeah, it's that statement, I'm too old for this crap.
Wow. So we're soft quoting like Lethal Weapon series?
Oh my gosh, we're at 19 viewers.
Well, 17. I'm hiccuping now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's okay. You still get words better than me.
Yes. This nating relationship is so confusing. Napagod ako. Oh my God, Mitch.
So first dates are always a weird area in life to navigate, and in many ways, it is not something that ends unless you're no longer dating,
Okay,
and
okay.
that's the only time it really ends.
All right. So, what then do we have recommendations for first dates? As old people who have, who have been stung in many ways, what are our, do we have tips
Don't get drunk. You can drink if you want. It could be a night out at the bar, but don't get drunk.
on a first date? That's
Because
fair.
because whether or not you can normally hold your drinks, if you choose to get drunk on the first date, you are either making yourself a problem for your date or making yourself a burden. And that is the last thing you want as a first impression.
And friends who go with us to O knows that Toby hates when people can't handle their alcohol. Friend or not. It's like, "Grr."
Yeah, but don't get drunk. I mean, it's it's a sign of maturity.
Yeah. I mean, like, you gotta stay in control. I mean, like, it's okay to drink and have a glass of
Mhm.
wine over dinner. But yes, don't get drunk. I think that's a good
Mhm.
first tip.
But the very first one really is really all about consent.
Mm.
No matter what that hangout meetup date will be, um, all assumptions are out of the window, but don't assume consent. You know, whether you're not sure who'll pay what, or whether it's better to go here or there, it's better to go to the movies or the bookstore. All of that is irrelevant to if you are or are not properly making sure things are clear when it comes to consent.
Okay,
You know,
that's
don't
important.
simply go, it's a date, you grab the hand, ask,
Mm.
and stuff like that. I hate it when people just share your straw and then like
Who does that?
some people do. So like you're drinking like, ay, ano yan, Coke? And then and you're like,
You've been with weird people.
no. Yeah.
It's right there along the lines of people who take food from your plate.
Okay, that's different. That's different. Not being romantic because I cut it for you.
No, that's offering food on their plate. Just don't take food from my plate.
Okay. So
Not on a first date
um,
or
um,
ever.
tip
Okay.
mid shares, be on time.
Okay,
Yes.
that's important. That's
Yes.
super important. Let's flash that. Be on time. There is no such thing as Filipino time. Just be on time.
Mhm,
Be early or be on time.
mhm.
Everybody's reacting to your straw story. Who does that, right?
I can share you her name, but that would be cruel. So I'd
Ooh.
rather not.
Yeah.
Wait, there was another one. There. Miguel shared have an exit plan.
This is sad, but it's valid. This is sad.
I
It's
think
valid.
it's responsible because it's not just about not liking the person as an exit plan. It could be because it's not safe. It could be because um, the date suddenly got drunk, or you suddenly feel you're having too much to drink and you're not sure if you can go home alone. Having that exit plan is always good.
Then related, which Karen says, inform your friends so they can check on you and for your safety.
Yes.
This I definitely agree. And we said the same thing about
going
like,
out to the bar.
going
for
out
the
to a
first
bar
time.
for the first time.
Or
It's
gay bar
like,
for the first time.
make sure friends know that you're going, as a close friend knows that, one, you're going on a date, two, where you're going to date, and three, maybe even have the contact information of your date.
Mhm.
Not that they should like add each other on Facebook right away,
But at least if, let's say,
in case of emergencies, they can call and they
or
know.
if, let's say, you're messaging your friend on the date and the friend has not been responding for an hour, then you're now starting.
Or they're now consistently misspelling words in a weird way,
Mhm.
or texting, ooh, I don't know. They're
Yeah.
like, that's wrong. Okay. Mitch says, tip number 2, expect to go Dutch. Thankful ka na lang if sagot yung lahat.
Yes,
So make sure
please.
you sagot the coffee.
I think the ano there is don't assume ililibre ka.
Yeah, I mean, it's even for straight people, like, don't assume anymore that the guy is gonna pay for everything. I think we're past that.
And I'd even add for gay dates, don't think it's cute when you go, lilibre mo ako. Don't think it's cute.
Does the energy of Toby's shadiness come across the screen? Because
Don't,
like, wow, I felt that. It's like, whoa,
don't think it's cute when you go,
whoa.
you go to Obar? I haven't gone there yet.
Then go.
I mean, if you really want to, then you might as well ask, I want to go there. Can I go with you next time?
Oh my God, it's Bob.
That's
Hi, Bob.
respectable. Hey.
Speaking of Obar, hi, Bob. Miss you too. Okay. Mitch is like wrong spelling in text is normal for me. Then we know if it's perfectly spelled. Hey, that's wrong. Because even your messages in this chat have been like a little wonky. Okay.
Sorry, I can't read Nick's post. Nakaka-pandemic. I guess it was a comment to something earlier.
Nagkaka-pandemic. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, because I guess the straw. They're still on your straw thing.
Yeah,
Who drinks from someone else's straw?
it gets worse. Asked if they could taste the lollipop I was having.
Why were you eating a lollipop on a date?
Because it was that packet you open with the powder, then you put the lollipop.
Why are you having a lollipop on a date?
I was trying not to smoke.
Okay. New tip. Don't have a lollipop on a date. Okay. Bob, share. See, this is like, I feel like our generation wisdom. Eat at your fave restaurant because if the date goes bad, at least you had a good meal.
Bob, I disagree. Because I'm worried if the person becomes a stalker, then they'll keep going to that restaurant.
Toby's really protective of his spaces.
And
But apparently he had to be protective of his straws.
I've had those experiences, so I kind of am a bit more worried about them happening.
Karen, now the straw thing is indirect kissing.
That's true.
Sharing bodily fluids in a different way. No, thank you.
So should we include tips like don't have pusit because then you'll be all black.
Ooh,
or don't
your black ink pasta.
or don't have a salad because you'll then have all the veggies that you'll for the rest of the night you're like so conscious that you want to deal with it.
But that's like along the lines of saying you can't have garlic or onions.
Yeah,
or
but
strong
would you
odors.
say that would be a smart thing for a date?
I don't
to
know.
avoid?
I don't know. I mean, like, I'm with Bob. I'm gonna eat what I want to eat, so I'm gonna have a good meal, whether or not we're gonna make out. So, boo on you. No paella negra. Don't drink red, white lang kasi it'll stain. Oh, well, if you're close, I mean, I have this fear because I am very clumsy. Then I'm always like, don't have pasta and twirl the fork. Because then you sometimes like spraying pasta sauce everywhere.
Don't wear too much perfume. What? Some people do.
Yeah, that's true.
As in, the perfume, stays after you've long left.
I still don't wear cologne. I'm highly allergic to floral scents, so I don't wear cologne.
Okay, Kenny asks, is sex after the first date a good idea? I think the better question to ask is sex a good idea? Yes. If you both consent, it doesn't matter if it's the first date or not. It's up to you to.
I mean, maybe on your dating profile, you said you're looking for activity partners. That's an activity.
Mhm.
There's your partner.
And it's no one's business if you choose to do it on the first date. If you choose to do it before your official first date, that's really up to you.
Yeah.
As long as you both chose to do it, then why not?
Okay.
They're not mutually exclusive.
Mitch says avoid seafood, shellfish, or things you eat with your hands. So like, yeah, then it's like, maybe the max chicken all you can is not the best first date.
Or a boodle fight.
Actually, I feel like buffets in general are not a good first date. Because then they're going to see how much you eat.
And admittedly, when you go to a buffet, you really want to eat.
Yeah, right?
And that's not a good time to talk. Unless you go to the buffet because you just want to be able to eat a little bit of whatever you want anytime you want. And then you can talk.
Oh my God.
But most buffets kasi have a time limit, so you're not really able to do that casually.
Noel has his he has a 3 hour limit for not smoking, which he tries to do on a date, and then
Mhm.
afterwards, time to go.
Mhm.
Um, Kenny's like, the amount of perfume a person wears is a sign if you'll see the person again. I relate to this very much.
Mhm.
Or the flip side, the lack of scent
Deodorant.
compensation. Because maybe they don't need perfume, but they need to neutralize.
Mm.
And that's like something you will never get from strictly online exchanges.
Yes.
Is that, and it's not it doesn't even have to be BO, but there are sometimes people that just smell weird.
Yes. And again,
And it's important to me. It may not be important to you, but it's
it's part
important
of
to
the
me.
wavelength. It's part of that. There are other senses that have to come into play when you get to know a person.
And I will definitely smell you.
You don't just experience a person from their wit and their skin. There's still the smell.
Karen says, practice good hygiene. Obviously.
Some people have a voice that just, nakakarindi. It just doesn't hit your ears the right way.
Mhm.
And it's not that they're like that to everyone. It's just that to you might realize, I don't like hearing him talk that often. It happens.
Mitch is like, after a date, tends to go home and eat cup noodles kasi gutom pa.
Oh, that's a good question. What have been your post-date snacking?
Oh my god. And then Mitch is like, sorry, Noel is like, and then if they don't shower before the date, then it's a hangout. Yes, I agree. If you didn't prepare, didn't shower,
Mhm.
boo on you. Post date snacking? What do you mean?
For me, a lot of my post-date snacking was Burger Machine. Because it was still the open,
So after a date,
meaty, yeah.
have a burger, is
Yeah.
what you're saying.
So like on the way home, I'll stop by a Burger Machine. I'll eat more better now. I'm calmer now. Because even if you ate in the date, sometimes you're too nervous to really enjoy the food.
I have I have never had a problem eating on a date. Obviously. So eating is not one of my challenges. And if you can't handle the way I eat, sorry. Now it's even harder because now I eat keto, which is harder to handle. But yeah, no, I don't know. But okay, so I don't really, and okay, to be fair, it's also because I didn't go on a lot of dates.
Mhm.
So I don't really have a good track record of experience for that.
Kenny shares lactose intolerance, post-date.
Snap is getting
usually.
ice cream because then you can, then you're
Mm.
safe to do this at home.
Yes.
Okay. Pambahay is not a first date. If naka-pambahay, it's definitely a hangout. But what if they're rich and they think they can do that in Makati and
Yeah, 'cause
BGC where they live?
Because they don't care what they wear. They're rich anyway.
It's a bad date.
Well, some people are into that. I guess that's the answer to that statement.
I mean, yes, and some people are into cannibalism, but whatever. See, my jokes are timely and socially relevant. Oh my gosh, what other tips do we possibly have?
When you are on your first date and you chance upon people you know,
Oh,
is it good form to introduce your date, or is it better to just keep it? Hi, I'll see you guys later, because you're kind of busy with the person.
ooh,
What sends the better message?
ooh.
Because there's the pros and cons, right? There's the this is my date, blah blah blah, which is now super pressure because now all my friends know you and they're meeting you and you're alone. But there's also the flip side. Parang hindi niya ako in-introduce. Parang nahiya siya mag-introduce.
I do not have a good answer for this.
Sige.
I don't have a good answer. I mean, because admittedly, I feel like when put in that situation, it depends on how the date is going. And it can go either way. Like, if it's a good date, then maybe I want to introduce my friends. Or if it's a good date, I'll tell them I won't introduce them to protect the moment.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a bad date, and I can tell my friends because I want an escape.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's a bad date, and I don't tell
Yeah,
my
so
friends because I don't want to know. I mean, there's
it's
no
still very
rule,
tricky.
right? There's no absolutism there.
No to house dates cause cannibalism.
It's
Uh,
relevant.
Mitch says it depends, Toby. If they approach the table and introduce the person, by the way, this is person name, then period. Makuha kayo sa tingin. Yeah, but if you were the date, how do you feel about that? If that was the situation na you're dating someone, the person saw his friends, and then ito sobra, this is Mitch, we're dating. Sige, bye guys.
I don't. Okay.
Do you think
number
it's
one,
a positive or a negative
number
thing when you do
one,
that?
I don't think you have to say you're dating
Mhm.
because that means like you're in a process of like this is not the first date.
Well, it could be a parang, so sino yung kasama mo? And you're like, you're now expected to answer.
Yeah,
Kasi syempre, friends will always be,
I don't have good friend dynamics knowledge
mhm.
because I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I always get confused on what's the right thing to do.
I don't think there's a right, like an absolute right thing. I think it really
Mhm.
depends on the person.
There, Karen also shares, it might be taken wrong naman if you go, it's just my friend. So parang, kala ko ba date? Bakit biglang friend? Diba? There is that possible
I appreciate
confusion.
the Mitch makuha sa tingin in the sense that, okay, if they're really friends, then they shouldn't mess with your date.
Mhm.
Then like, yeah, I mean, like you can casually, I mean, don't, I guess, thinking about it, I wouldn't label it anything.
Mhm.
I mean, like, oh, hey, and this is blank. You don't have to say blank my friend or blank my date,
Mhm.
maybe, so that you don't put the pressure of labels. And then quickly dismiss like, hey, this is ganyan. We're in the middle of something, but I can catch up with you guys later.
Mhm.
And then
So, Noel
soft different.
shares, I don't bring my first date to meet my friends because judgmental friends, hashtag. Noel, you don't have to bring them to us.
They're at O.
We're still judging them. We're still judging them, even if we haven't met them.
That is also true. We judge everyone. No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, so Mitch's like, oh, then maybe this is it. Don't label it, and then yes, we shall now cement. Makuha sa kanya sa tingin. If you're really friends, you understand what this means. Go away. Okay, that's something. Yeah, I mean, like we can't plan these things out, especially if you go to like a mall.
Mhm.
Oh my god, don't you miss that malls? Like really going out to malls. Anyway,
Well, considering now the things you miss, what then would you, and this is inviting everyone to share, what then would be locations you'd like
wait,
to
that
bring?
wait. No, it's like ergo, I'm still single because again, judgmental friends.
Hoy, you can't judge us because we don't make the dates feel weird, ha? Excuse me, I'm the best wingman you've ever had. Ay, ang ganda ng tattoo nyo. Bagay, oh. Anyway, what are the places that you would say would have been an ideal or you miss that you would have wanted to bring a date there? Whether or not it might be a good idea. I mean, parang just throw what you think would have been interesting places or you miss the chance to have had brought a date there.
Oh,
I have
chocolate kiss is gone.
I have the weird. Remember that petting zoo beside Glicos?
Which Glicos? Is this a South story?
No, in Makati. In the upper floor there was the arcade, but beside it there was that place where you could feed goats and sheep and stuff. You buy food basically. You buy
Hindi
the
ko naabutan.
it was there in Makati. But I remember I used to go there. I used to celebrate my birthday there
Wow,
alone.
so this is like when like it's only Greenbelt 1, ganun ba?
Yeah. May quad pa yata. Hindi, that's ano pala. That's
Hindi, Makati din yung quad.
quad, yun.
Oo.
Gold Crest. So, but there used to be a petting zoo. So I used to go there when I celebrate my birthday alone. And then you buy the feeds, and then you can just feed the animals. So what I used to do is I'd be there, and then there'd be sometimes there'd be parents with their kids, and I'd be like, excuse me, all of you. So there's like, let's say, 5 nanays with their kids na nakapila. And they'd be like, may special po na yun, so libre po yung tickets, pasok na po kayo. So then they go in and I just pay the counter, and I tell them, what yun sabihin? Because that was my birthday. and then we'll just all happily watch the animals be happy because there's so much food.
Where is this? Wow, this is interesting.
It eventually became the place where the arcades were. So that general area na parang I think it was third floor. But yeah, really old memory. Um,
Toby has a long history of treating people, apparently.
Yeah.
Ayan, Nikki, naalala ko Toby at Obar's.
So, did anyone else share places?
Yeah, well, Kenny says like he doesn't like the whole nahuli feeling on a date, and I think for me it just reflects on the quality of your friend. Sorry, I mean like, and at the same time, don't be that friend.
Mhm.
Miguel says strolling around Quiapo as a date. That's
I think there was
interesting.
an earlier one yung before the Bigla sa Bar.
Wala, Noel was trying to ask if you're talking about fashion cafe.
Oh, no.
Mitch is just like a resto that is not loud.
Mm.
Ooh, does Noel confirm? Petty sa Makati, Greenbelt 1 movie house, daming petty.
Yes.
No.
I was about to say, wait, remember when there was that garden in the middle of the two malls? And that's where A&W used to be. So there was, I think it was Greenbelt 1.
I grew up in QC.
This garden area na parang
SM City was the place to be.
para siyang pa-underground kasi the ground descends and then it's all the plants above you. And then there's A&W where you can get the best milkshakes.
The only A&W I went to was
The
at SM
Aviary.
Annex.
See, there you go. It was an Aviary. Yes. That place was a nice place for dates.
Night and day, guys. I don't know who this. Going to Makati was like a field trip. Like, oh, we're going to Makati. Just like getting tested for COVID together. I don't know, but hey, maybe it's like, it's like modern day HIV testing dates or STD dates. I mean, like, there are some people like that who like they end up going to a testing facility together for like for STDs and stuff. So I can see COVID testing happening. Although I just feel like it's very intimate to like both have cotton swabs jammed up your nose. Karen says Pinto Gallery. Is that the one in Baguio? Is that it? I'm not.
Yeah,
sure.
that's the one with the weird paintings that look like 3D images and the like.
Is that it?
Yeah, the Pinto Gallery. Wasn't there a Ripley's, believe it or not, shop in Shangri-La before?
Not shop, because the museum.
The museum.
It was a
pala,
full-on
sorry.
museum. Yeah, it was. It's gone now.
Oh, then there's the Painig sa Pasig.
Like remember when we ate at Sima with Aina?
Mhm.
That's where it was. So
Okay.
that whole restaurant area.
See there, Glicos. Yeah.
I don't see your petting zoo yet.
No, it was beside it. So it was Glicos, the amusement park that had a roller coaster inside, and then beside it was the petting zoo.
Okay. Pinto is in Antipolo. Everyone is now correcting me. Thank you. I have never been.
The one in Cuba was a different one. That was the 3D museum thing.
Yeah. We didn't go. And then
Oh yeah, we only talked about it. It was an comment. Yeah.
Jed's argument of STD test. I was just COVID testing, then you can hook up safely after.
Oh! You know what is a nice dating place in the past? Well, not a dating place, but
Carbon
a place,
dating of Payanig sa Pasig.
a place to visit during a date.
It's like saying Fiesta Carnival.
Tower Records.
Oh.
Because it was a chance to like
so hoity.
look at music.
Let's
and
go
then,
to Tower at Gloria.
and then you could like both listen to the
Oh,
song.
because you could like plug in and listen to music. And then we'll go to Starbs at 6750. Oh my god.
Okay, please do not make your first dates videoke.
And probably not 6750. That's sleazy. What's wrong with video?
Pressure kaya.
Okay, that's a point.
I mean, unless you're like super confident with your singing skills.
Or both of you are confident, or
Yeah.
at least enjoy karaoke already. I mean, like if it's a shared interest, fine. But yeah, there is. I will acknowledge there is an indirect degree of competition.
Yes, it's a competition.
Especially if your video game play scores you and will tell you whether or not you are like a singer. Pam, 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 pam. 87. Ooh, that's a thought. Okay, what else?
Oh my if you know the reference.
Payanig sa Pasig sa tabi ng bakahan. If you know the reference, then I'm judging.
Oh my god. I will admit though, I did like going to those carnivals. Not for the rides, but for the games. As part of the date. Which is what the places like Glicos made more accessible within the city. But like, you know, those bottle games or those you try to win the stuffed toys like, sort of dates. Those were always kind of fun.
Not on a date. I remember the one time my family ever went to a payanig sa Pasig. I think we explored some of the weird oddity exhibit ko na, which is like a lot of like literally smoke and mirrors. Like snake people and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god. Strange. Okay. It's like videoke is nay, arcade is yay.
Yes. I think arcade is yay because even if you lose in the arcade, it's still a fun lose and not a embarrassing lose.
We've never like really arcaded together.
We have, but we didn't really because we did a little bit of the
I mean, like we didn't go
we were
distinctly
looking
to go to the arcade.
were
At
looking
most, we go to Glorieta and get free arcade.
and we were looking for the pinball machines kasi.
Yeah, yeah.
It wasn't the I mean there was the air hockey thing which we didn't do as much. There was very little of that. It was really more the pinball machine because we were liking the pinball machine.
But like I've always wanted to go on like one of those like movie style dates.
And then you do your thing.
We have to bring that up. But then like you do the machines that have the tickets and then you like see what tickets.
Love you.
I was pretty good.
Yeah, you were. It comes with doing tap. It's a rhythm thing.
It's my hands versus my feet. It's very
You still have a
different.
better beat than I do.
Okay. Kenny also agrees. As much as he loves music, video is a no-no. Or even a date. Sige, I won't flash Noel's.
Have you
Fun.
have you ever been to other museums for a date?
I've never officially been on a museum for a date, like getting to know you date.
Mm.
I've barely been on dates. Though.
Okay.
We've gone to museums together.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a cute place in Ora. You have to go and bake first what you're gonna eat. We saw this.
Yes.
The community baking thing.
We're tempted
It's
to try it,
fascinating.
but we're still COVID scared, so we don't want to do it yet.
Yeah,
But
we
yes.
just waved from the hallway.
Oh my
Ooh,
God,
And they
you-
gave us a flyer.
And I think it's like the Daya bake because you don't really bake it. It's already baked. You just decorate it. I think.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Oops.
And then
Claw machine. Yay. Okay.
Mhm.
Di ba pressure ang ano? I mean, it can or cannot be, but hey, at the very least, you can get a ball pen.
Yeah, but the arcade competition kasi is not real competition.
Oh wow! And then it's like the beach, but only because I live near the beach and it's the next best thing I could think of. Advantage you.
I think the beach is a good dating place if it is within.
Yeah, if it's nearby.
Yeah. Kasi if it's not, I don't think you want to be stuck with someone on the beach as a date.
Ooh, Noel's like, I like museum dates. Ooh, I've never been like on a exploratory museum date. Only because, one, I do want to be with someone I can talk to about the exhibits if I choose to. But two, I know I'm very silent.
But those are for dates because we've gone to the museum and we've pretty much done that.
Yeah.
So it's like we're dating, but we're already together, so it doesn't really count. But then that's the question: do you still have dates if you're together?
This is a long running discussion for us. And like, should we go on a date? You know, because when is it a date if we keep eating at the same restaurant because we like eating there, and everybody knows our name?
Or are you considered to be always dating then if you are together?
Oh, Noel's like he likes the Van Gogh cafe where you paint.
I've seen those. And as much as I've been tempted to consider those, I always feel like it's more junk to keep afterwards because you'll feel connected to it afterwards. But then we have all this stuff already we're keeping.
This is a unique problem for
So
us.
I don't think I want to add a porcelain thing.
Plus, my art sucks. So I don't have very good confidence in my ability to create beautiful things. Again, it's like if you have to wear a swimsuit, pressure. I guess it really depends. You know, it depends. So yeah, maybe not for a first date. Kaya it's like museums or maybe second and beyond dates kasi more intellectual discussion na yun. Arguable, but yes. Yeah, I would want to only. I feel like it's on the same level of like going to the movies or theater.
Yeah,
because it's a long experience.
But I do feel that intellectual discussions
should happen from the first
will
date.
naturally come to you if you're the type to have intellectual discussions. Because if not, then it might be something you present.
Okay, we're like we should still go on dates, and I think that's always like so. That's our conundrum. Okay, if I go to a heteronormative structure, when married couples still quote unquote go on dates, it's also like one of the key differentiators is leaving the kids at home. I mean, just to go in like very nuclear
and
family
dress up for it.
and dress up and go out, and then, but like when you're like us in a queer relationship,
who don't
we're not leaving people behind.
Yeah, and us kind of queer because there are gay couples
There's all
who do
different
dress up.
sorts.
Yeah, who
Yes.
do dress up, who will foundation and tayo kasi we go out, we'll just wear whatever pa rin eh.
I like how your example of who do dress up. Number one, foundation.
No, because I'm relating it to the
makeup
for
heteronormative
hetero, it's
experience.
it's what you might have a couple in a straight relationship who'll go out for pizza, but then they might have a date night and the woman will, super pretty herself, and diba? It's a date, so they really dress up for it.
Okay.
So in terms of gay couples, there are some couples that also super do that for a date night, and we're still not that. At most, we always have a what shirt do we wear because we want to have the shirts match, or even what socks do we wear. In the past, it was even all the way to what underwear do we wear because even that we match out. And
we didn't really match on
we did have.
it would just happen to match. We didn't plan matching.
We had a few because those were the superhero underwear.
But we didn't.
Anyway, explosion.
Shutting this down.
Anyway, going back, and in many ways, that was you could say that was our date nights
Sort of.
compared to when we just go out because we have to eat out.
Yeah, I mean, like when we were like, because even then, like especially when we moved to BGC, then it's like, you want to go watch a movie, and then I can book it now, and then I'll see you after work, and then I didn't know if it felt like a date. It's like we want to watch the movie, and then dinner was functional because we just eat wherever is near the theater. I don't know. I don't. Because even like when we go watch theater, which is like that's a far off commitment. We don't dress up for theater,
but we'd always dress up. We still choose what we wear.
We always choose what we wear.
Exactly,
And we literally always choose.
so
what we
one
wear.
can say we're.
That's
always,
why we have like 30 plus matching shirts.
So one can say we're always dating.
Okay, if we were okay,
Because we are making a conscious effort to wear something that we like to wear together.
but we're just Baduy. I feel like because of our above, we have an above average level of kabaduyan constantly. Then for us to date, it really needs to like be a higher level.
And that is why we spent the first 20 minutes defining dating.
And we're still not done.
Because when you're always doing something that you feel makes you feel your relationship more in a Baduy fun way, for some, that's what makes it a date night. Because you're suddenly dressing up for it.
Okay.
In normal nights, they'll just wear what they want to wear. I don't care what you're wearing, I'm wearing this. Diba? And if you think about it, we're sort of that on our non-going out nights. We'll just grab whatever shirt, I'll just grab whatever shirt. Diba? But then when we want to go out, we want to wear something matching.
But we rarely don't match any. I mean, okay,
Exactly.
and that's all because but it's also because now we have 30 plus matching shirts.
Mm-hmm.
So even if we're just going to the grocery, we match shirts.
Mm-hmm. But it's because we want to.
But then it's not a date. We just went to the grocery and ate at the supermarket food court. Is that a date? I don't think that's a date.
Do you guys normally match shirts for any other reason?
I don't think that makes it dating. It just makes us baduy. It makes us that annoying couple that's always matching shirts. There's a difference, right? Right? You 10 people who are still on the stream, isn't it different?
I'm hoping people will comment.
Yeah. Noel's like, as much as I love Obar, I won't be my first date there. Too noisy. Heat up to talk, but maybe good for making out. You just don't want to show us your date.
Yeah, no, and judgmental friends. Haha.
Because you'll be like, oh, hi, Noel. Who's your friend?
I would be that way. I'd be like, hi, so it's your first time. So how'd you meet Noel?
Different levels of shade.
No, I'm not judging the friend. I'm judging Noel.
What? You think I'm judging the friend? I'm judging Noel too.
We love you.
Okay. There was like anyway, like picnic dates at Sunken Garden. Wow, that's like classic. I don't like outdoor dates. Only because
They're always
I
nice.
sweat so much.
Yeah, they're always nice in concept, but never in execution. Because sometimes you don't sweat, but then.
And have you seen the ants at Sunken if you are near the trees? And then your risk of higad is above average.
And then let's assume there's no insects and you're not sweating. But then you'll put the glass down or the bottle, then ganyan.
And then,
it's never okay.
And maybe we came from that period where, I'm sorry, but there are an above average number of condoms on Sunken Garden on the wrong day. Not romantic.
And then the last, kailangan ko mag-CR. Saan ang pinakamalapit na CR?
Go over there.
So yeah, outdoor dates, not a fan either.
Okay. Everyone disagrees. It's hard to define our stuff. That's
okay.
Fine.
Now then I have to bring up, so can you have a date wherein you just walk?
Yes. But it has to be like special, thoughtful, meaningful walking. Like you're going to a park and we're going to walk together or jog together.
So is dating more the activity and not the time with the person?
I think it can be any activity as long as the time with the person is meaningful.
Mm-hmm.
So just us walking to the supermarket, I don't think is meaningful.
But we're choosing our food for the week.
We're not really putting that much thought. And then in the car,
like
I'm on my phone playing whatever casual game.
Get the eggs.
we at the supermarket. It's war. And then we have like a you go there, I'm gonna go there, and I'll meet you back here.
And so walang tutulong sa'yo magpack. Fine ako na.
Every time at the cashier, you get so angry. Kaya ang gwapo ng bagger ko.
Because you'll see like 5, 6 of them baggers all at one table, not doing anything. And then you'll see the manager approaching, then you'll see them all go into the supermarket. And I'm like, I'm on to you guys. Oh. But I won't report them because I understand what they're going through.
Dinner at a nice restaurant, and if there's chemistry, get a room and bam.
Bam!
Told you this, Alexa, day of bam is happening. Walking on the beach, yes. Dating is both activity and time together. But again, mutual thing, if not ilusionadang date. That's our new term, really. Our takeaway from this episode is the ilusionadang dates. The Bridgertons called it promenading, was it? This was also a society that you couldn't be alone with each other without a chaperone. But yes, promenading is going on
that's a question.
Formal walk. Chaperone?
Do chaperones make something a non-date?
I think it still can be a date. It's just that you're being watched. It doesn't necessarily make it. You can still have meaningful.
Because you might totally ignore the chaperone.
Yes,
and still have a great time.
You'll just have meaningful conversations that avoid certain subjects, or you'll find more subtle ways to talk about it, and thus Netrunner. Okay.
Kenny shares, yes, I had a date. We met up at
Walang
Walang
nakaset
nakaset.
na we're gonna do. We started talking while walking till we noticed na mahaba na nilakad namin along Manila Bay. Oh, but Manila Bay is nice.
Yeah. Karen, awkward, which I presume is the
Chaperone.
Yeah.
And then I was like, yes, it can still be a date. Just an awkward date. Yeah, right? I mean, like, if you like being watched, go for it. Oh, turn off if the date comes with a third wheel. Ooh. Like, I mean, as much as you can have a chaperone, but the chaperone doesn't sit at the same table as you or something. It's like, sorry.
Tsaka sana scooter man lang kaysa naman yung gulong yung dalawa. Sorry. Moving on. Don't make that face.
It must be love. It must be love.
Did anyone here bail?
Someone out from a first date?
Yes. I've had done so a few times.
Group dates are a thing, but maybe not first dates. That's true too. Have we ever done a group date? We joined someone for a birthday, but I didn't really feel like it was a date. Plus, it was buffet, and we said buffets aren't dates. Like, we buffeted together.
Well, first dates, buffets aren't dates. So it wasn't naman a first date for us. So it still could have been a date.
Mm-mm. But maybe it's just a hangout
Yeah.
because of the people.
Yeah. I think so, yeah.
I have never bailed someone out of a date only because I don't do the friend thing.
Mhm.
And I didn't have a car. I feel like that's a factor.
In some ways, yeah.
Traveling is so inconvenient. Okay. Ideal first date, great convo, great ambience, plus point ko mukha at brains ni Cha Yun Woo. Okay. Very Mitch statement. And hindi siya ilusyonadang date. Okay. Are group dates still a thing? I'm sure they still happen. I'm sure they do.
I think it happens, but many don't realize it's happening.
Because it's also sometimes masked in the you're also out with the barkada.
And then it's later on, like, push it. Yeah.
Or barkada, and of the barkada consists of multiple couples.
Mhm.
I don't know. We've rarely been on dates with other couples.
And not to mention, there's speed dating, which seems to be an in thing more often now.
Really?
There were the last few years. I remember hearing from people who attended some speed dating events.
But those have been going on for some time.
Yeah, but
speed dating is
but those-
not a new thing.
It's well, it wasn't as common in my younger years. You didn't like meet strangers in some place in hopes of dating.
Yeah, we just have apps where you meet strangers in hopes of dating. Okay. What's this? Oh my god. Mitch has been the third and the fifth wheel in dates, but not in the first date. Noel's like a planetarium is a nice idea. Ooh.
Is it still running, the planetarium?
They're still alive. I just don't know if they're open to the public, you know. And then there's BAM moments also in this planetarium idea.
So would Mind Museum be a date place?
I don't think an experiential kiddie science museum is a good date. I mean, like, it could be fun, but there could be a lot of kids running around bumping into you.
Yeah.
And then a lot of the exhibits are not optimized for your height.
and
unless you're short.
And there's some of them are sad na.
Yeah, and then, I mean, maybe after COVID, we'll get used to touching things that other people have touched. But yeah, I mean, the Mind Museum is specifically an experiential museum.
Yeah.
It's a hands-on.
But yeah, there a hands-on museum. Would that be a nice date place?
I don't know. I mean, because like Mind Museum, the whole electric thing that makes your hair stand is kind of funny.
Yeah.
Funny classic
I'm thinking
date
kasi it
moment.
allows you to do interactions together, not just like museums.
But the
wherein-
interactions aren't necessarily together. It's always one at a time. And you're always like one watching the other.
Yeah, but you're then talking about it, making those moments compared to you're looking at the painting and the person goes to another painting.
But what is to say that they won't do the same thing at the museum, at the Mine Museum? You can go explore different exhibits and like touch different things. Wow. Kenny's like, not Manila Ocean Park. It's also sad na. Oh, we haven't been. We only went the one time. That's sad to hear. Huh. Noel's like, wants to go to a place in Japan where you go to a dog cafe and pet puppies. But man, international travel for a first date? I don't know. I'm just kidding. There are pet cafes. Transportify yourself and your date. And I'm sure there are some pet cafes. I don't know about a dog one. Oh wow, most embarrassing moment on a date.
Okay, that's a good question.
That's a great
And
question.
I think that's a good
and we'll wrap
our
up.
our last topic for tonight. So embarrassing moments on a date. Choices.
I honestly don't know what to suggest for me. I mean, I don't. Again, I didn't really go on many dates.
Mhm.
I'm a serial monogamist. I don't know.
Oh, not even during the um, our breakup period.
I hooked up with people.
Okay, you're the one.
I didn't.
So you did have dates.
Yeah, I didn't. I
That
didn't
makes
go
sense.
like, let's go on a date. No, I hooked up with people.
So there was a date I had where my zipper broke.
Oh, that sucks.
It was a bathroom trip.
Yeah.
And then I'm there, oh shit, no, not now. Not now of all times. And the zipper, the teeth basically weren't connecting.
Mm.
So I detoured out of the restaurant, ran to the closest, to buy safety pins, a safety clip.
Oh, okay. Safety,
And
safety pins.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, had to pin it back closed. But for the rest of the night, I was super conscious because it was safety pin closed. And it's not exactly something you want someone to realize when they, get flirty with you. So,
Oh my gosh. Kenny's like, not a fan of Instagrammable museums. Had an experience where he became a photographer. I think that's a real risk you play
that's
now
true.
in this Instagram age. Okay. Oh, Karen brings up her own Illusionada date. Mitch, Mentos moments. What? Okay. Well, it's like the zipper breaking was easier access though.
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks. Someone left his wallet at home. And he was the one who asked the person out. Oh, that's painful. Jahe, man. Because I want to say jahe.
Did anyone ever get caught in the rain on their way to a date?
Oh, and then that sucks. And then like you're drenched, and like you didn't have an umbrella, or even if you did, the rain was so strong. Wow, that's painful.
I've only had that in a hookup, not in a date. Someone else going to meet up for a hookup.
Same.
Showed up drenched, and I'm like, okay, what the? I mean, might as well because you're drenched anyway. Yeah. What?
And you had a car.
No, I didn't let the person rent the car. We walked to the room.
Wow. Galante.
Oh, basa sa ulan. I won't let them sit in my car. Noel, being drenched, that's sexy.
Depende.
Depende.
At least naligo. Now it's a date. Okay, at least it led to a second date, so that's good. What else? I don't know. I was like, okay, because my like exploratory date experiences are so limited, and then they weren't all like amazing, but I didn't have any embarrassing moments. I'm very careful kasi. And because of that, the fact that I am naturally clumsy and all these things, that I am extra careful on a date period, because like I don't want things to go wrong, and I will overthink things 20 ways till Sunday to make sure things don't go wrong.
Did anyone have their parents bump into them during a date?
Ooh.
I haven't had that.
Ooh,
thankfully.
that would be weird. I mean, like, I get the bumping into friends at the mall.
Or an ex bumping into you during a date.
Well, that's happened to us.
In very Tenet version, because it's like reverse.
So many times, like, oh look, it's my ex. Gay Manila is small. Okay. Anything else?
So I
Wow.
guess last messages then about first dates.
I will hold on to the romantic name. I will. This is the hill I will die on. The romantic notion that dating is about getting to know other people and leaving the door open. What's this? Leaving the door open for something romantic. It doesn't necessarily mean you're committing to it.
Mhm.
It doesn't mean it has to happen, but it's a possibility that's happening and that you are still evaluating each other
Mhm.
in that regard. And so I will hold that a good first date is one where you do have a chance to get to know each other well.
Mhm.
I don't think you need to contrive it to be very complicated. Like I've mapped out this whole night at a theme park or something, or
Mhm.
or this 5-star restaurant and blah blah blah. I mean, like my sister recently explored a new Michelin star restaurant in Singapore, and they hated the food after a tasting menu.
Wasn't there this place we ate also that was a Michelin star place, and we were like, "Ito na yan?"
Yeah, we had also we have these moments. So don't make it too complicated.
Mhm.
Make sure it's that you can have a good conversation, that you can enjoy yourself well, and like what Bob said, that you can have a good meal. So that's like my general direction for first dates.
Yeah, I'm in a similar boat. I think it's not that the first date has to be special.
Or
It's-
perfect.
It's more, it will become special if that first date was one where you both realized you click.
Mm.
So it's not about making the first date special and interesting, but it's about taking that date and then you'll find out later on
It
if
doesn't have
was
to be like in the movie.
yes. And for many based on romantic comedies and the like, the idea kasi is to prepare the date to make it special. And that's fine if it's because the two of you have been, communicating very long and finally you're going to meet and stuff. Siguro nga you want to make it special.
Or
that
it
way.
might and
Because
many
you-
first dates aren't even first meetings. Maybe
Yeah.
it's like, after talking and hanging out, then
for
you
so
decide
long.
we're
Yeah.
gonna have a date.
And you decide you want to make it special. So let's do something that is I know you like, and that's fine.
And then let's play Lego.
But if you're still mostly strangers, and then you're all, I planned out tonight na, that's scary.
Mm.
So just
Psycho killer.
don't
Fantasy.
don't don't put so much weight and labels on something. Those things will come naturally after, based on how it went. So just enjoy it, and don't also feel you can only have one.
Yeah.
Sometimes it will take multiple first dates to really get to know someone.
Okay. Pause. Multiple first dates? That's such a rom-com thing to allow do-overs when the first date didn't go well.
Because sometimes you're both in different mindsets, or sometimes you're different people at that time.
So when you say multiple first dates, you're not talking about the do-over to erase a bad date, which you've seen as a rom-com trope.
Yes.
Instead, you're going for the other rom-com trope where maybe it didn't work out now, but 10 years later, you're both still single.
Or you're a
and
different
maybe it worked out.
person by
And
then.
you're a different person
You're more
now.
mature by then. Because you're always reintroducing yourself.
I can't believe we're going back to an Adam Sandler movie.
No, we're going back to, so what makes it a first date?
I have this strange sense of deja vu. Okay. What's this? Miguel's like, I just realized I'm into this topic, but he doesn't do dates. Hey, you don't have to be into dating to do dates. To like dates. It's like no, it's like liking BLs. I don't know, stuff like that. Are you a serial dater, Toby? Noel
Me?
asks you.
At the earlier years, because I felt I had to date someone to get to know them.
Mm.
And then later I realized I can just hook up. So I started to hook up more. And then when there were hookups that were more memorable or fun, then that's when I'd ask to date. But I did start.
Hooking up as a strategy for getting to know each
But
other.
I did start with date first
Yeah.
to get to know the person. So it was a paradigm shift for me.
That's growing up, guys.
Mhm.
Adulting. Okay. 2 hours we're still defining the first date. I accept this shade. Because definitions are important. But
Yeah.
again, it's also because Toby and I have a complicated beginning.
Mhm.
And then some would argue our life is one very long date. I don't know.
And sometimes kasi some people have that, yung parang, when we met, I wasn't really thinking of any romantic whatever, ganyan, ganyan. And then we did that thing. So parang I want to have a date talaga. Yung mga ganung mindset minsan. So, kasi nga, sometimes people define a date in a certain way.
I feel like, wow, there's some very specific stories we have not covered. There are things I need to know. There are things I need to know.
What?
Okay, I think that's it. That's the episode.
Why does it feel weird?
It's not weird. Why? Are you making it weird?
That's all the time we have for tonight's episode. We had a lot of fun, and we hope you'll join us again next time.
If you have questions for us or suggestions for future episodes, fill out the Google form at bit.ly Baduy Pride Ideas. You can follow us on Twitter, Toby No Shade, RG Sunico.
You can also check out our blog, baduypride.com, for all the previous episodes and stuff about us.
Feel free to continue the conversation in the comments below and settle things once and for all. What is a date? What is a first date? Can you have multiple first dates? All of these things, comment away. And be sure to subscribe for notifications, whether on Facebook or YouTube, so you don't miss our next live stream. Are we going to stream tomorrow? We have a game. I don't know if we're going to run late.
We'll see. We'll announce if ever.
Okay.
We'll see. Because we
Um,
don't also game too late lately.
Yeah, it's true too.
We
It's
sort of
tiring.
we sort of end games by dinner time. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Because we have a fasting window. That's why.
Mhm.
All right. But yes, once again, I'm Rocky.
And I'm Toby.
And this is
Baduy Pride.
Have a good weekend, everyone.
Mwah.
And maybe figure out if you're going on a date. Is it a date? Are you sure?